Welcome back to our coin quest where we uncover the fascinating world of rare coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Today, we're diving into the story of a tiny but powerful piece of American history, the 1967 Roosevelt dime. This one little coin, which you might overlook at first glance, could actually be worth far more than its face value. In fact, under the right circumstances, some 1967 Roosevelt dimes have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But why is that? What makes the 1967 Roosevelt dime so valuable to collectors and coin experts today? Let's break down the history, the unique characteristics, and the current market value of this dime that has become a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. Let's start with the background of the Roosevelt dime itself. First minted in 1946, the Roosevelt dime was introduced to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, along with his support for the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio, made him a beloved figure across the nation. The United States Mint decided to pay tribute to him by placing his portrait on the 10-cent coin. Now let's fast forward to the year 1967. This was a transitional time for U.S. coinage. Just a couple of years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had removed all silver from circulating dimes and quarters due to rising silver prices. From that point on, dimes were made with a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of cupronickel. So, if you're wondering whether a 1967 Roosevelt dime contains any silver, the answer is no. It is a clad coin, just like all other dimes minted after 1964. However, that doesn't mean the 1967 dime isn't valuable. In fact, there are certain features and rare errors that make some of these coins worth serious money to collectors today. Here's where things get interesting. In 1967, due to the coin shortage of the mid-60s and efforts to discourage coin hoarding, the U.S. Mint did not place mint marks on dimes. That means you won't find a small letter P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco on any 1967 Roosevelt dime. All of them were intentionally minted without a mint mark. This can be confusing, but it's a normal part of the 1967 series, but while mint marks were missing, errors were not. And this is what really excites collectors. Some 1967 Roosevelt dimes feature rare and valuable mint errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, missing layers, and more. These errors happened during the minting process, and because quality control wasn't as strict in the 60s as it is now, a number of flawed coins slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation. For example, a 1967 Roosevelt dime with an off-center strike, where the design is noticeably misaligned, can sell for $50 to $200 depending on how dramatic the error is. If the coin is missing a clad layer, revealing the inner copper core on one side, it could fetch anywhere from $150 to over $300. And if you're lucky enough to find a double die variety, where the coin's design appears to be double due to a misalignment in the die, that could push the value even higher. But the real treasures are those 1967 Roosevelt dimes that are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, these coins are valued based on their level of detail, luster, and lack of wear. Coins graded at mint state 65 or higher can easily be worth $10 to $30, while those at MS 67 or higher can go for $100 or more. In some cases, top-graded specimens with perfect features and strong eye appeal have sold for several $100s at auction. So, how do you know if you have a valuable 1967 Roosevelt dime in your hands? First, check the condition. If it looks sharp, shiny, and free of wear, you could be holding a high-grade coin. Next, look for signs of unusual features, anything like doubling, off-centering, or missing layers. A magnifying glass or loupe can help spot these details. And if you think you've found something truly unique, consider sending your coin to a grading service for authentication. A certified coin with a label verifying an error or high grade can command significantly more value on the collector's market. Now let's talk about the current market value in more detail. Most circulated 1967 Roosevelt dimes are still worth just their face value of 10 cents. But uncirculated examples start around $2 to $5. Errors and high grades, as we've discussed, can range from $50 all the way up to several $100s. The key factors that influence the value are rarity, condition, and demand from collectors. Auction records show that some rare era coins from 1967 have fetched astonishing prices. One example is a 1967 dime struck on a cent planchet. That's a dime accidentally struck on a penny blank, which sold for over $1,000. Another example is a deep cameo proof-like 1967 dime graded MS68, which sold for nearly $500 due to its exceptional quality and eye appeal. These prices prove that even modern-looking coins from the 1960s can be worth serious money under the right conditions. It's a reminder that coin collecting isn't just about old, dusty coins from centuries ago. Sometimes, it's the everyday change in your pocket that hides the greatest treasures. So the next time you get change back at the store or dig through an old coin jar, keep an eye out for the 1967 Roosevelt dime. You never know, that small, ordinary-looking coin could be the key to a big payday. Thanks for watching and joining us on this journey into the hidden value of the 1967 Roosevelt dime. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. And tell us in the comments, have you ever found a valuable coin in your change? Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the history of American coinage alive. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating and potentially valuable coin, the 1975 Roosevelt dime. This tiny coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but under the right circumstances, it can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. So grab your coin collection and get ready to learn the history, value, and the secret that makes the 1975 Roosevelt dime so special. First, let's start with a bit of history. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. He also played a major role in the founding of the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. That's why his portrait appears on the obverse side of the coin, replacing the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. By 1975, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for nearly 3 decades. It was made of a clad composition, which means it consisted of a copper core with outer layers of copper nickel. The composition was changed from 90% silver to this copper-nickel mix in 1965 due to rising silver prices. In 1975, the U.S. Mint struck Roosevelt dimes at 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a small D on the obverse side near the date. There were no proof coins made at San Francisco with the S mint mark in that year for the standard issue. Now here's where things get interesting. Although most 1975 Roosevelt dimes are common and worth face value, there is a special and extremely rare variety that is known to collectors as the 1975 No-S proof Roosevelt dime. This coin is one of the rarest modern dimes in existence and was struck at the San Francisco Mint as a proof coin. What makes it rare is the fact that it was accidentally struck without the S mint mark, making it virtually priceless to serious collectors. Only 2 confirmed examples of the 1975 No-S proof Roosevelt dime are known to exist. These coins were discovered in special proof sets, and their existence sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. The first example was found in 1977 and sold at auction in 1980 for an astounding $18,200. But that's nothing compared to what they're worth today. In recent years, these rare No-S proof dimes have sold for over $400,000, depending on condition and market demand. These coins are held tightly in private collections, and if one were to surface again, it could easily fetch $500,000 or more at auction. But what about the regular 1975 Roosevelt dimes? Let's talk about their market value. Most circulated 1975 dimes from Philadelphia or Denver are still worth only face value, just 10 cents. However, if you have a coin in mint state condition, especially MS65 or higher, you could be looking at a value of $3 to $10 or more. The key here is condition and eye appeal. The sharper the strike, the fewer the scratches, and the more original luster the coin has, the more it's worth to collectors. Some high-grade 1975 Roosevelt dimes graded by PCGS or NGC in MS67 or MS68 condition can fetch $100 to $300 depending on demand and the strength of the strike. These coins are rare because most dimes were heavily circulated and few were saved in pristine condition. To identify if you have a valuable 1975 dime, here's what you should look for. First, inspect the mint mark. If you find a 1975 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark, don't get too excited just yet. Most Philadelphia dimes from 1975 had no mint mark, and that's completely normal. But if you have a proof coin with mirror-like surfaces and no mint mark, then you may have hit the jackpot. Such a coin should be immediately authenticated and graded by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC. Also, check for any errors or varieties. While not as valuable as the no-S proof, errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets can bring in extra value. These types of mint errors can sell anywhere from $50 to over $500 depending on severity and uniqueness. So, how do you know if your coin is a proof coin or just a shiny circulated one? Proof coins are specially struck for collectors using polished dies and special planchets. They often have a mirror-like background with frosted raised devices, giving them a cameo appearance. If your 1975 dime looks unusually shiny and reflective on both sides and lacks the mint mark, get it checked immediately. Now let's talk current market trends. As of 2025, the rare no-S 1975 proof dimes remain some of the most elusive and highly valued modern US coins. If a new one surfaced in pristine condition, experts believe it could bring in over $600,000 at auction. The rarity, the mystery, and the modern nature of this era make it a dream find for any collector. Meanwhile, high-grade regular business strikes from 1975 in uncirculated condition continue to grow slowly in value as more collectors seek to complete Roosevelt dime sets in top grades. Even though most are not worth a fortune, it's always worth checking your change and old coin rolls. You never know when you might stumble upon a treasure. To sum it all up, the 1975 Roosevelt dime may look like just another coin, but hidden among them is one of the rarest dimes in US history, the legendary 1975 no-S proof dime. Keep your eyes open, check your proof sets, and you might just strike it rich. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos about rare coins that could be sitting right in your pocket. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck checking your change. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1988 Roosevelt dime, a coin that may seem ordinary, but could secretly be worth thousands of dollars. Let's begin with a little history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who led the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. He passed away in 1945, and just 1 year later, the U.S. Mint decided to commemorate him on the dime, replacing the winged Liberty head, commonly known as the Mercury dime. By 1988, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for over 4 decades. That year, the Denver Mint, located in Colorado, struck hundreds of millions of these coins. In fact, the total mintage of the 1988 Roosevelt dime was a staggering 1.03 billion coins. Because of that, most people assume that the 1988 dime is common and not worth more than its face value. But here's where things get interesting. While the majority of these dimes are only worth 10 cents, some rare and unique examples have surfaced over the years. Coins with errors, varieties, and exceptionally high grades that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. So, how can a coin minted in the billions be worth thousands of dollars? It all comes down to a few key factors: minting, errors, condition, and rarity of certain varieties. One of the most sought-after types of the 1988 Roosevelt dime is the full bands variety in mint state condition. This refers to the clarity and sharpness of the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side of the dime. When the coin was struck with enough force and detail to show full separation in those bands, it means the coin is extremely well struck, and that significantly increases its value. Collectors love full bands because they are rare, especially from the Denver Mint, where strike quality wasn't always the highest. A 1988 D Roosevelt dime with full bands and a grade of MS 67 or higher is much harder to find than you might think. Let's talk about some real-world auction prices. In recent years, a 1988 D Roosevelt dime graded MS 67 with full bands sold for over $1,000 at auction. And that's not all. Other examples graded MS 68 or higher, especially with beautiful luster, no contact marks, and sharp detail, have fetched even more, some approaching the $2,000 mark. But wait, there's more. There are also error coins from 1988 that are incredibly rare. These include off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and missing clad layer errors. If you happen to find one of these in circulation or in an old coin jar, you could be sitting on a mini jackpot. For example, an off-center 1988 D Roosevelt dime that is still in excellent condition can be worth anywhere from $50 to $250, depending on how dramatic the error is. The more off-center, the better. A dime with a missing clad layer, where part of the copper core is visible, can go for $100 to $300 or more. Then there are double die varieties. These happen when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing a noticeable doubling of the design. If you have a 1988 D dime with visible doubling in the lettering or on Roosevelt's profile, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the visibility of the error and the grade. So, what about current market values? For a regular 1988 D Roosevelt dime in circulated condition, it's still only worth about 10 cents. But in uncirculated condition, especially if it's certified by PCGS or NGC, the value increases dramatically. Here's a breakdown of current approximate values. Circulated condition, 10 cents to 25 cents. Mint state, MS 60 to MS 65, $1 to $10 MS 66, $20 to $40 MS 67 with full bands, $100 to $400 MS 68 with full bands, $1,000 to $2,000 or more. Major error coins, $50 to $500 plus rare varieties or dramatic errors, up to several $1,000s. If you want to know if your coin has value, start by checking the overall condition. Look for coins with little or no wear, sharp details, and no major scratches. Then, check the torch on the reverse for full band detail. If you're not sure, consider sending the coin to a professional grading service. Also, don't forget to examine the coin closely under magnification. Sometimes, valuable errors or doubling can be hard to spot with the naked EYE.TO wrap-up. While most 1988 D Roosevelt dimes are only worth their face value, there are some rare examples that can bring in big money. Whether it's a coin with full bands in high grade, or a dramatic error variety, it pays to take a closer look. So the next time you go through your change, remember, you might just have a rare 1988 D dime that's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a valuable find. Drop a comment below and let us know if you've ever found a rare Roosevelt dime. Who knows, you might just inspire someone to check their pocket change. See you in the next video. Today's video, we're diving deep into the 1989 D Roosevelt dime. At first glance, this coin may look like just another common pocket change. But what if I told you that some versions of this dime are worth thousands of dollars today? That's right. If you have a 1989 D Roosevelt dime, you might be holding onto a small fortune without even realizing it. Let's explore everything you need to know about this coin, from its fascinating history and key features to how much it's worth today in the collector's market. We begin with a little background. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the previous year. He was not only a beloved leader but also a strong advocate for the March of Dimes, an organization that fought against polio, a disease he himself suffered from. The coin was designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. Now fast forward to 1989. That year, the Denver Mint struck over 896 million Roosevelt dimes with the D Mint mark. This high mintage makes the 1989 D dime a fairly common coin in circulation. But, as always with coins, the real value lies in the details. Certain rare errors and high-grade examples of this coin are where things get exciting. Let's talk about the basic characteristics. The 1989 D. Roosevelt dime is composed of a copper-nickel clad, weighing 2.27 grams, with a diameter of 17.9 millimeters. The obverse features Roosevelt's left-facing profile along with the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," the date 1989, and the D mint mark just above the base of the neck. The reverse design includes a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing peace and strength. So, what makes some 1989 D dimes worth so much more than 10 cents, the first and most valuable factor is condition. Coins that have been well preserved in mint state condition, especially those graded MS67 and above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can be worth anywhere from $25 to several $100s. This is because high-grade examples are much harder to find due to the wear and tear that coins typically experience in circulation, but it gets even more interesting when we talk about rare errors and varieties. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1989 D. Roosevelt dime is the full bands variety. This refers to the horizontal lines across the torch on the reverse of the coin. When these lines are fully visible and sharply struck, it indicates a very strong strike from fresh dies. Collectors pay a premium for these coins. A 1989 D dime with full bands in mint state can sell for upwards of $200 to $500, depending on the overall grade, but that's not all. Some extremely rare mint errors have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. For example, off-center strikes, double dies, and wrong planchet errors from the 1989 D series have made their way into auctions and private sales, sometimes bringing in thousands of dollars. One known example of a 1989 D dime struck on a copper cent planchet sold for over $1,000 due to its extreme rarity and eye-catching appearance. These are coins that passed through the minting process with major mistakes and somehow made it into circulation. The most valuable 1989 D Roosevelt dime ever sold was a coin graded MS68 full bands by PCGS. It fetched a massive price of over $1,200 at a major auction. Why? Because coins in this pristine condition are virtually flawless under magnification and represent the best of the best from the entire mintage. Now let's break down the current market value based on grade and rarity. If your 1989 D Roosevelt dime is circulated and has visible wear, its value will likely remain at face value, around 10 cents. These are common and hold no numismatic premium. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, with no signs of wear, you may have something worth more. A regular mint state coin graded MS65 is worth around $3 to $5. Coins graded MS66 can go for $10 to $15. Once you get into MS67 territory, values jump up to $50 or more. MS68 coins, if they exist with a strong strike and full bands, can be worth hundreds or even over $1,000. As we mentioned earlier, error coins can bring in significant money regardless of their grade. An off-center strike with more than 50% of the design missing can sell for hundreds of dollars. A double die obverse, where the inscriptions appear doubled, can also be worth hundreds. Always check with a professional grading service or error specialist if you suspect your coin has one of these rare features. So what should you look for in your pocket change? Number 1, look for coins with no wear, strong luster, and sharp details. Number 2, inspect the torch on the reverse. If you can see strong, complete horizontal lines on the bands, you may have a full bands example. Number 3, look for strange features like doubling, misalignments, or odd colors and weights, which could indicate a mint error. In summary, while the average 1989 D Roosevelt dime is still worth just 10 cents, there are rare examples that can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. High-grade coins, full bands varieties, and mint errors are the key factors that determine if your dime is worth a fortune. So next time you come across a 1989 D Roosevelt dime, take a closer look. You might just be holding on to a valuable piece of modern numismatic history. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins hiding in everyday pocket change, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting, where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. If you love rare coins and valuable finds, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a valuable update. Let's get into the story of the 1996 Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of American coinage since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. He was a central figure during the Great Depression and World War II, and also the founder of the March of Dimes, which fought polio, a disease he himself battled. The coin was designed by John R. Sinek, whose initials JS can be seen on the obverse, or front, of the dime. Fast forward to 1996, this year marked the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime. To celebrate this milestone, the U.S. Mint did something special. They released a limited edition proof version of the dime with a W mint mark from the West Point Mint. This 1996 W Roosevelt dime was not released into circulation. Instead, it was included as a free bonus in the 1996 mint set. That makes this version incredibly rare and valuable today. Now let's break down the different types of Roosevelt dimes minted in 1996. First, the 1996 P dime, minted in Philadelphia. It has no mint mark, or simply a small P on the obverse. Over 1.4 billion of these were struck, making them common in circulation. Second, the 1996 D dime, minted in Denver. With over 1.3 billion produced, these are also very common and usually only worth face value unless they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Third, and most importantly, the 1996 W dime, struck at West Point. Only 1.457 million of these were made, and they were not released for general circulation. You could only get one by buying a 1996 mint set, making it a collector's gem. Let's talk about what really makes a 1996 Roosevelt dime valuable: rare varieties and mint errors. Here are a few that can turn a dime into a goldmine. One major error collectors look for is the missing clad layer error. Roosevelt dimes are typically made of a copper core with a nickel coating. But sometimes the nickel layer is missing, exposing a dull copper appearance that looks more like a penny. These dimes can be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on condition. Another valuable error is the off-center strike. If the coin was not properly aligned during minting, you may see part of the design missing. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, and how much of the date remains visible, these errors can fetch between $100 and $300 or more. Also watch for double die errors, especially on the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. While no major double dies have been officially listed for 1996 Roosevelt dimes, small anomalies do occasionally appear and can bring premium prices from variety collectors. Finally, keep an eye out for proof-like or high-grade business strike coins, especially those graded MS 68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Even common dimes can reach prices of $100 to $500 if they are in flawless condition with great eye appeal. Now let's go back to that special 1996 W dime. Since it was never released into circulation, it should only exist in pristine condition. These coins are known for their mirror-like finish and sharp detail, characteristics of proof strikes. What makes this dime even more valuable is its low mintage and limited availability. As of now, uncirculated 1996 W Roosevelt dimes typically sell for around $20 to $50. But if you have one graded in perfect condition, like PF 70, the value can skyrocket to $200 or more depending on demand and market trends. There have even been sealed mint sets with the 1996 W dime that sold for over $300 to serious collectors who want untouched examples. And here's the kicker: because the West Point Mint rarely produces coins with the W mint mark for general coinage, this dime is a standout piece that every Roosevelt dime collector wants. Let's break down the approximate current values as of 2025, 1996 P and 1996 D Roosevelt dimes in circulated condition. Face value, in uncirculated condition, MS 65 or higher $2 to $1.10, with mint errors or off-center strikes, $50 to $300 plus depending on the error. 1996 W Roosevelt dime ungraded, $20 to $1.50. 1996 W dime graded PF 69, $100 to $1.50. 1996 W dime graded PF 70, $200 to $400 or more, and remember, market values can rise fast if demand increases or if fewer high-grade examples remain available. So the next time you're going through your pocket change or an old coin collection, don't ignore the Roosevelt dimes, especially those from 1996. While most are common, a few hidden treasures like the 1996 W dime or a rare mint error could be sitting right under your nose, waiting to be discovered. If you learned something new today, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more coin collecting insights, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a valuable find. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare Roosevelt dime or have one you want us to check out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.